let's let everybody in. Folks, you are tuning into Daily with Doc. I am so excited to have a full room here on Zoom. That's where we are, where we're recording. So if you would like to join us, and if you have a question that you would like of Dr. Joel Wallach and get the answer based on his research, and not just the research, but actually putting his research into action in his clinics and through distributors like myself and all of my co-hosts, and getting results. So if you'd like to join us here on Daily with Doc in the actual recording room, come to dailywithdoczoom.com. That is dailywithdoczoom.com. So I know the people here in the Zoom room with me, it's like, well, we're already here. I'm talking to the people out in YouTube and Rumble and Facebook. Come on over. We are so happy to be able to offer this program. And the best part about it is all the people that are commenting on the videos, that are sharing the videos and using this as a resource to share a message that empowers people. Instead of taking the power away from people, we're all about empowering people so they can do things in their own lives that benefit themselves physically, mentally, emotionally. And for those of you who choose to join us in the business financially, and actually, Dr. Wallach, even if people are just using the products, they can benefit financially because it's helping to avoid all of those 600 plus conditions that you found to be nutrient related, nutrient deficient.
And they pay wholesale prices and we pay the shipping if they get on auto ship.
There you go. Well, this program is being sponsored by Daily with Doc, and we are proud to be able to have the replays from our past shows. Daily with Doc, Ask Doc Live, Ask Doc Daily, also the Q&A with pharmacist Ben. So if you're ever looking for any of those past recordings, or you want to do a search and try to find something that is specific to what you're looking for, you can go to dailywithdoc.com and do a search there, and you'll be able to find our past recordings. We also have many of them out on YouTube and Rumble and Facebook in our group. That's the Critical Health and Critical Health News channels. So it's Critical Health News on Rumble and YouTube, and then Critical Health on Facebook. So go ahead and reach out and like and follow. So if you're on YouTube, hit that follow, subscribe. We want to make sure that we're reaching people, and we want to see how many people we're actually reaching. So we have questions here in YouTube already, Dr. Wallach. We have hands up with us here in Zoom. And folks, if you are with us here in Zoom and you'd like to ask a question, go to that reactions button in the Zoom menu, click on raise hand, and we will be going through and calling on people in the order that their hands are received. And we're going to try to, Dr. Wallach has his hand up, folks, but it's this hand. I'm going to let him have a slide, but I'm still going to call out him. So Dr. Wallach, you have a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. You studied plants. And in that, you were also studying animals. So we've got plants, we've got animals. You were looking at the nutritional deficiencies, or you were just like doing pathology reports, trying to figure out why things were dying. And you found that there were nutritional deficiencies with specific conditions or pollution. So the science of epigenetics proves that there's no genetic diseases, and the transmission of it is through nutrient deficiencies, not your genes. Epigenetics Hey, I have that book.
Here it is.
I think, oh, well, yeah, you've got it, and I'm supposed to have it right here. I think somebody borrowed it from me. But so epigenetics, Dr. Wallach, tell us a little bit about epigenetics. You can go ahead and put the book down.
Okay.
I will find my copy, but I love the picture of the little Reese monkey that you're holding that's looking up to you. And it's like a father-son relationship where that baby is looking up to you because he trusts you. I love that picture, Dr. Wallach.
Well, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about it. And then I know that you've got a topic that we're going to talk about that I think is going to touch a lot of people today too.
Yes. Okay. Well, I had a job in 1976 at the Yerkes Primate Center at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, as a pathologist. And I got that job because of my previous position at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri, along with Barnes Hospital and the St. Louis Zoo and Marlon Perkins. Marlon Perkins had taken my first published scientific article where I did an article on a mass die-off of sheep because of pollution. It was a pollution thing. And it was the first mass die-off pollution article written in the United States. Okay. And he took that and got a $21 million grant from NIH, National Institutes of Health. And I did my 20,000 autopsy, not my first, but massive 20,000 autopsy project for over 10 years at Washington University in St. Louis. Published it dozens of times, different articles and things. And the reason why I got that job at Yerkes Primate Center, all these monkeys are sending into space with the space people, and they wanted to really know every detail, any disease that a single hair in their body would have, or this and the other. At that point, I was the most published of authors when it came to primates and stuff like that. So that's why they picked me for that job. Well, I was only there for a couple of months. I ran into what I saw as the first case, a non-human case of cystic fibrosis, thought to be one of the most terrible genetic birth defects in humanity. And I traced it back and saw that it wasn't a genetic disease, it was a simple nutritional deficiency. And I sent slides from that monkey to 5 medical schools. And I didn't tell them they were from monkeys. I just said, I think these slides are from a cystic fibrosis patient. What do you think? And they all sent back on their letterheads. And again, this is 1976. Yes, these are classic examples of cystic fibrosis. And I told them this is from a monkey. This is probably the first non-human case ever published. And they were so excited. I said, yeah, I think I know what's going on here. And I think I can get you more, and we'll have a reservoir of baby monkeys with cystic fibrosis. You can study it. Oh, they were so excited. And then I got permission with all that information to do biopsies and all the other baby monkeys in the Yerkes Primate Center, and they all had cystic fibrosis. And so when I wrote it up to present it in a national pathology meeting for the United States government, and I pointed out that all these monkeys had cystic fibrosis, they weren't related to each other, and it was due to a nutritional deficiency, which I had traced to a deficiency of a single nutrient, and they fired me. So, Wallach, you're out of your mind. You must be sniffing glue because everybody knows cystic fibrosis is one of the most terrible genetic birth defects in humans. You're gone. So they fired me. Make a long story short, I went to all these various events on the weekends, trade shows and things, looking for a job. And I got a job to teach nutrition up in Portland, Oregon at the Naturopathic College up there. And I said, well, I might as well, get the degree in naturopathic medicine and become a physician. And they gave me some credit for my pathology, my nutrition, and those kinds of things. And so anatomy and so on. And so by 1982, I graduated as a naturopathic doctor. Okay. And the whole idea was to get this information out, because I found out there were no genetically transmitted diseases, none, zero, zippo. My thesis is at that time, I came out in 1985, I was in Africa when it came out. My thesis, Marlon Perkins, and my publication on that monkey came out in 1985 also, okay? And Perkins got that $21 million grant with that thesis, not that with a thesis, with that article. And in the thesis is 20,000 autopsies. And it was like crazy because it proved that none of the things they thought were genetic. They're all just simple nutritional deficiencies. My thesis sells for, it's called The Diseases of Exotic Animals. Okay, you can find a few used ones every once in a while for $3,000, $5,000, $8,000, but the new ones still in the box, never opened up, sell for $25,000 to $35,000. And only big corporations and medical schools can afford to buy them. No, that's not it.
I know this is not it,
Well, that's
Dr.
a summary
Wallach,
of chapter 1.
but this is the summary of your study. It's a Ricci monkey.
Yeah, that's starting on page 2006. You need, if you get that book, Primates.
206.
Yeah, 206, start there, read 206 to 215, and it goes through all that stuff I just discussed in great detail, and the publications in scientific journals that came out of it. And then you can go back to the beginning and start this book from the beginning, because if you start at the beginning, you'll quit reading it by the 3rd chapter, because why do you want to know about parasites in monkeys? Why do you want to know about anesthesia and chimpanzees and stuff like that? You're not going to want to know that. So you're going to want to go to page 206, where you start with all my discoveries, showing the mistakes that the medical system was making about genetics and so forth. Now, the story gets better here. I'm going to jump to a couple of months ago. Okay, I'm going to jump to a couple of months ago, where we came out with a new book. It's called The Wallach Revolution. Okay, and I think Becca's got one of those. There you go, Wallach Revolution. It's a 75-year journal. Okay, of all the big discoveries that I've made. And the foreword was written by, let's see here, a guy by the name of, let's see here, Pat Boone. Yeah, Pat Boone. Pat Boone. He wrote that foreword because he had terrible arthritis. He went to the best doctors and so forth, and they just want to, give him knee replacements and leg amputations and all kinds of stuff. And I used the Theo Ratliff approach on him, the program that we had built for Theo Ratliff, rebuilt him. He came back cured of all his arthritis, and he wrote the foreword for this book. As a result of that, he's so excited that he didn't have to have his legs amputated and all that kind of stuff. And then the afterword, the last chapter of the book is called The Afterword. Okay, where Pat Boone wrote the foreword, and then Danny Glover wrote the afterword. Now, Danny Glover, as a child, I mean, we're talking 2, 3 years old, had terrible seizures. He was diagnosed with epilepsy and all this kind of stuff. All through his teenage life, he was on all these drugs and everything. It was always breakthroughs, and it was a mess. And we actually put him on our program and cured him of all of his problems. And so, Danny Glover, of course, is a famous comedian and singer and so forth. And Pat Boone is a very famous singer. He sings one of my favorite songs, the theme song for the movie Exodus, in 1960. He sang that one. And Rebecca got me I don't know what we would call it. She got a collection of many of Pat Boone's songs. It's breathless, all the great songs he did. And of course, he sang many of these songs from Exodus on this thing that Rebecca gave me. But these things are unimpeachable evidence in this book, the Wallach Revolution. Everybody needs to get this book because it shows and it tells a kind of a summary of the story of Theo Ratliff, how he was in terrible trouble with his arthritis, and he launched his big $35 million contract, okay, from the Atlanta Hawks. He was only 24 years old, had bone-to-bone arthritis in his knees and his hips, and he had fractures in his shooting arm wrist and his right hand. And they took his contract away and say, "You're done. There's nobody in any professional team wants you because you're so broken down." And we came up with the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, which was our Healthy Start Pack. And I had to come up with the first collagen product, which was a glucogel, and added that to the Healthy Start Pack. We called it the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, and then came up with our Rebound for him. And he just took it and ran with it and did such a wonderful job in putting all this together. And so Theo and I lectured, on radio, TV, all over the world before games, after games, and so on. And he played professional basketball for 11 years. Here's a guy who was supposed to be a wreck and couldn't, play basketball. I don't know, a dozen times annually. He was the, what should I say, the award-winning shot blocker. He was also one of the highest scorers in the national NBA. And so we thank him. And Rebecca and I and Theo are putting together, this is his 50th birthday this year. So we put together an interview we did.
Last week.
Yep, last week. Okay, we did an interview with him and brought it up to date, over 21 years. So we called it the 20-year anniversary of working with Theo Ratliff. And so soon this is going to be available to everybody to know what he went through with all these diseases we got rid of with nutrition. Okay, and then you talk about the Wallach Revolution, where you're talking about Pat Boone and Danny Glover, who tell their story. They tell their stories. It's not like they just say a statement. They're telling their stories. Okay, and so this should be a great, great, great thing for humanity to get this information, because there's so many things we can do for them, and it's all published. And of course, if you buy 10 of any of these titles at one time, you get a nice discount. So I urge you to do that. And you can get, if you want to give them the information, or want me to do it?
Well, yeah, we can, if any of Dr. Wallach's books, publications, you can get at drjwallach.com. That's DR, like Dr. J, Wallach.com. And I was having a conversation with Theo, Dr. Wallach, a couple of days ago, and because I wanted to know exactly, okay, how many years has it been? So I'm saying 20 plus year anniversary, because he's turning 50. He said, even though I was having
24.
issues.
He was 24, fired him.
It's about, yeah, he's 24. He said, but even before I got into the MBA, I was starting to have issues, and they still took a chance on me. And I'm so glad that they took a chance on him, because that, if they hadn't, and if he wouldn't have been in the MBA and started having problems, then people wouldn't have known about it and reached out to him and introduced him to you and made the impact on what can actually be possible when it comes to joints. Because
Yes, I think
he was breaking down.
Yeah, Theo and I, with his healthy bone and joint pack and the rebound, we can save the world. Okay, it's one of those things. And this is true life stuff, as you said. This is not just theory in a laboratory. This is true life stuff. And we have helped so many thousands, literally thousands of people who followed Theo's in his footsteps and taking the programs. And then, of course, that led to getting rid of all kinds of birth defects, which I'm so proud of.
Yeah, Dr. Wallach, it just amazes me how difficult we make something that's actually simple.
Yes. And of course, once you know what the trail is, you stick on the trail, you don't get lost. You try and do silly things, you get off the trail, you get lost. And so again, this is an endless victory. This is an endless victory. This will go on forever. And people say, well, I'm surprised that the medical association and medical doctors groups haven't sued you. Well, they don't want to take me to court, because that would be big front page stories. That would be big stuff. And guess who would win? Okay.
Yeah, you've got a pretty good lawyer. I kind of like him.
Jonathan Emord.
So, yep, I love the fact that I can call Jonathan a friend, and his wife as well, Dr. Wallach. They are a power team when it comes to health, wellness, and making sure that the truth gets out there without the infringement on your constitutional rights for those of you who are in the United States.
Now, don't they also have something to do with the
his wife is the founder of the Institute of Holistic Health.
There you go.
Yes. So she's one of the co-founders, her and Paul Croto, two of the leaders within Youngevity, and yourself. So there's three co-founders.
You're a leader of
I'm a leader, but I'm not a co-founder, Dr. Wallach. I just keep the wheels rolling, keep them
But you're a
greased, make
coach. You're
sure
a coach.
everything works.
You're a coach.
So I coach, I train the coaches. Yes. And it's an amazing program because you do not have to be in Youngevity to go through this health coach program. This is open to anybody and everybody. We want to make sure that Dr. Wallach's message, what he found in his research, is known worldwide. So if you're interested in getting more information about being a certified holistic health coach with the Institute of Holistic Health, get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there's nobody to thank, go to coachwithbecca.com, and Becca is BECCA. So coachwithbecca.com, and there's more information about our certified holistic health coach course there. Well, Dr. Wallach, did you have anything more that you wanted to add to your opening this morning? Because we've got hands up, we've got questions.
Let's go to the hands.
And
I just want to make
yes.
sure that people know they could get the story from Pat Boone and Danny Glover in the book, The Wallach Revolution, and of course the book Epigenetics. They kind of go together.
Well, and it also talks about the times that you have gone up against the FDA, Dr. Wallach, and
Yes, in federal
prevailed.
course. That's correct. And that's how.
So I think that's an important part of it.
Okay, now let me, since you brought that up, by doing that, I got rid of cystic fibrosis. Okay, we already talked about that. I got rid of muscular dystrophy, worked with Jerry Lewis. He was my hero because he worked day and night to find the cure for muscular dystrophy in kids. They were always called Jerry's kids, right? And Marvin Ropp, a Navy SEAL, and I, we were working in Indiana where they had such a high rate amongst the Amish people there of muscular dystrophy. We were curing them right, left, and center. Okay, I figured out what the cause was, and we got it written up and got it published. Okay, and they wouldn't let us put these nutrients into the baby formulas, and so that's where Jonathan Emord came in. We went to the federal court. We sued the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, 8 times in federal court. We prevailed every time. And we were able to then put these nutrients into the baby formulas, Enfamil and Similac, and we got rid of cystic fibrosis, we got rid of muscular dystrophy, and unbeknownst to us, we also got rid of what?
Sudden infant crib death, cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy.
Yeah, crib death.
And well, that's sudden infant crib. Yeah.
Sudden death syndrome, SIDS. Okay, and we got rid of that. So those 3 diseases we got rid of by putting essentially one nutrient into baby formulas. Just one nutrient deficiency was the cause of those 3 diseases. And I got the 2 awards for that. One was the Klaus Schwartz Award. There you go. And the gold medal for that. That's Gerhard Strauser, probably my hero in biochemistry, giving me that medal. I could just tell you, I was breathless when he gave me that medal for finding the cause, prevention, and cure of cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, and SIDS. And then that was in 2011. And in 2015, I got a similar award from the United Nations called the Lifetime Achievement Award from the United Nations, okay, for discovering those things. I'm so very proud of that. And I cannot thank everybody enough who are involved in those things, because the awards are nice, but they represent saving kids. They represent, that was, to me, one's entire life is worth when you can say we saved thousands of kids.
I agree, Dr. Wallach. And yes, you found the cause, the prevention, the cure.
That's correct.
Folks, it's our job to make sure the world hears about it. It's our job. There is no better form of communication than word of mouth and sharing with others. So I encourage, I empower you all to share the message that you do not have to be chained or a prisoner of a broken system. So Dr. Wallach, let's help some people.
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it. So the first thing, and this came up before any hands came up. So we have somebody in the YouTube realm here who was at end stage kidney disease, has improved to chronic kidney disease, stage 3. They are wanting to know what can be done to support the function of kidneys, Dr. Wallach.
Okay.
This individual is 170 pounds, 5 foot. Oh, all these stats. I think it was 5'5".
I got it. She's 57, or the person is 57, 170 pounds, 5'5" inches, no diabetes, CKD stage 3.
I'm sorry, what stage 3?
CKD, I don't know what that
Chronic
means.
kidney disease.
Yes. And then healed from end stage renal failure. And then she said, or the person says, I use prescription prenatal vitamins and vitamin D3 to help get there.
Okay, good. So that's a good start. And you notice that she got improvement just by using some very simple vitamins and minerals, right? The prenatal vitamins, vitamin D3, with 170 something pounds to get over all this, okay? Because it's all just nutritional deficiencies. Needs to get rid of all the bad stuff so you maximize absorption. No fried foods, no processed meats, absolutely no oils, no salad dressing, no cooking oils. Use lemon wedges and squirt the juice on your salads, or use yogurt or cream on your salads instead of oils, okay, and salad dressing. No. Okay, then no gluten, no wheat, no butter, rye, and oats. No, there are no such things as gluten-free oats. The gluten in oats may be called sometimes, let's see here what,
Gliadin.
yeah, gliadins, there you go, that's one of the names, gliadin, and it's still a gluten. Then no buckwheat. Buckwheat doesn't have any gluten in it, but it does have Fago, F-A-G-O pyrines in it, which is worse than gluten. Then no sugar, no carbonated drinks, even diet drinks need to go, and also carbonated water because they neutralize stomach acid, so you cannot absorb minerals, digest food. Then at 170 something pounds, she needs 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. You know, prenatal vitamins may have 5 or 6 vitamins, 3 or 4 minerals and stuff like that. So that's not quite enough. She needs 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, full dose everything twice a day, 215 nutrients in each of those. Then she needs 2 bottles a month of the MSM, so you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. They're going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone raised bone itself, including the bone marrow, to make white blood cells and antibodies and red blood cells and platelets and that kind of stuff. Then she's a collagen peptides, a scoop of that with morning drinks or the evening drink. Again, for the collagen stuff. And then we also want her to have 2 bottles a month of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. That's 3 words, Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. Take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, or 3 at breakfast, 3 at dinner time. If she wants, she could have it 3 times a day, wouldn't hurt, but she can no less than 2. If she's on blood pressure medication, don't cold turkey off of that. But as the blood pressure begins to come down, she can slowly reduce the blood pressure medication. But also, this is going to get the blood flowing into the kidneys. And so she's not a kidney failure patient anymore. Kidneys have an enormous capacity to respond. I take people that haven't urinated in 10 years, 0 urination in 10 years, are on dialysis 6 days a week. We put them on that program. And in 2 weeks' time, they're urinating. So they drop the dialysis down to 3 days a week instead of 6 days a week. And then in 2 more weeks, they're totally off of dialysis and totally their blood pressure issues are gone. But they said, well, how long do I have to stay on this, Wallach? Well, how long do you have to put oil in your car? Okay, I get it. Yeah, you take these nutrients forever. Just because you're getting better or you're getting rid of your problem, you can't quit, because then you'll be like your car. You do not want to have your car go without oil. People treat their cars better than they treat themselves.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. And I know that she heard that, so that's great information. The good foods, bad foods list.
Okay, we have a book.
Well, no, you've addressed it. You went over it. The good foods, bad foods list, Dr. Wallach, you're eliminating the things that are causing the inflammation and damage. You're
and
adding
and preventing absorption.
and preventing absorption. Absolutely. You're adding foods that are high in antioxidants, high in nutrition, except for the rice. But you're supporting the body so that it can absorb the nutrients. But there's no nutrients or not enough nutrients in food. That's why Dr. Wallach came up with this supplementation and these formulas, because it was going downhill. The more farming, the less nutrients. The more population, the more food's being consumed, the less nutrients in the food.
Two things that I have to insert. Number one, plants do not make minerals. Plants make vitamins, amino acids, fatty acids. These are carbon compounds. Plants are famous for taking carbon dioxide out of the air and making carbon compounds out of them, vitamins, amino acids, and fatty acids. Nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like gold and silver. That's why there's some areas on earth where people live a long time. They don't have many of these type of diseases, which we see as common in certain areas. And then if you take these nutrients, those diseases that are common in certain areas go away because they're not a genetic thing. They're not an immune thing. Your body's not attacking itself. These are simple nutritional deficiencies. Even if you have 5 people in your family with type 2 diabetes, we can get rid of it in you and them in weeks because it's simple nutritional deficiency disease. It's not a genetic thing. And so this is what we have going here. And we were looking for teams all over the world. We have, some big things. We're keeping our fingers crossed here. We have potentially some big things coming. Big numbers of countries and organizations and stuff lining up because they realize they're paying for all these doctors to treat your symptoms. Insurance and all that kind of stuff, your employers, the government. We could save 30% of the government's expenditures, okay, if everybody would get on the 90 essential nutrients and stay away from the bad foods, and you wouldn't have any health issues. Duh. And the government wouldn't have to pay for all that stuff. And it's like crazy. It's that simple. And so we were building an army. That I knew we had to do that when I discovered this on the birth defects way back when in 1976 when I discovered that first monkey with cystic fibrosis. I knew that I had found something extremely useful and that it had to be an army because I'm getting fired. I'm being fought by all the biggest medical institutions on earth. One little guy, myself, a veterinarian against all these big medical doctors and Yale and Harvard and all that kind of stuff. Nobel Prize winners are attacking me. And so I had to build an army. And so that's why we took the direction we did to build an army, millions of people who will tell the story, not just me.
That's right, Dr. Wallach, because you're just a little guy. So am I.
You're a little girl.
It takes more than one voice to ring throughout the world. And we're just the beginning, folks. Join us. Join us, join us, join us. It's an amazing thing, Dr. Wallach. I had a call this morning. One of my clients reached out to me, had some things going on, and I met him because of Youngevity. And being able to calm them just in our conversation, blood pressure went from 225 over 90 to 178 over 80. And then figure out, okay, you've got these things going on. These are the things that we're going to get going into your body to help support your body to do what it was designed to do. It's amazing. I love that feeling of being able to help people, Dr. Wallach, because we do that. And then the next call we get from them is them thanking us because things are better.
Yeah. So this is where the Wallach Revolution comes in. It tells the story over and over and over. 75-year.
And that's just a handful. That's just a handful of stories.
That's just some of the big ones.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Wallach, we have some more hands that are up, but we did have a question here in regards to wheat, barley, rye, and oats. There's a question: can you eat the microgreens before it goes to seed, before it creates that that protein in the gluten, can you eat the microgreens of, say, wheatgrass, barley grass, ryegrass?
Can you shoot yourself in the head with a 22 and no copper jacket? No.
Okay. So the cross-contamination.
Yeah, the cross-contamination, there's not as much in there, but it's in there. You got to stay away from it. Stay away from the stuff. Why do you want to keep getting into things that are going to kill you? You know, the Asians do not eat wheat, brown, around oats. You know, I love the Chinese. They have two cultures. One is in the north, they live on wheat. Their average life expectancy is 71. And then in the south, they live on rice and sweet potatoes and seaweed. Their life expectancy, is 76. Okay. And so when you look at the various diseases they get, the ones in the south have extremely fewer diseases than the ones in the north. And again, the life expectancy, let's see here, in Japan is 84.7. And they eat like Asians. They live on rice and sweet potatoes and beans and seaweed and stuff like that. And their life expectancy is 84.7. Our life expectancy in America, depending on whose numbers you're looking at, is 73 to 75. They live, 9 to 10 years longer than we do. It's not a genetic thing. It's not an autoimmune thing. It's just a simple nutritional deficiency thing. And that's why we came out with a book. Let's see here. Here we go. Immortality. We looked at some of the biggest, longest lived cultures on Earth. There you go. Thank you. The longest lived cultures on Earth. And what they consciously, proactively avoided, that's extremely important. What they proactively avoided, and then what they proactively ate. Okay. And they all had very similar sort of systems. And of course, the most recent death, a record in the industrialized world, not the whole world, but the industrialized world, in 1997, Jean Kelman from France, she just died at 122 years, 164 days, documented by medical schools. Okay. And so 122 years, 164 days, 1997, Jean Kelman from France. Okay. Everybody can do that. Everybody can live to be 122. Everybody can live to be 140. But you've got to make that a priority. And if drinking soft drinks all have bubblies in it, not taking vitamins and minerals is a big thing for you, well, go for it. This is America. You have your choice. But I think I'm also going to start a coffin company. So I'll have coffins available for people who don't want to do the right things. We'll sell them to you for cheap.
Hey, it's a free world, Dr. Wallach. If you want to do that, I guess you can do that. But I like being part of this business. So let's focus on helping people so that they don't need those as early. Because
Okay.
we all have a time to be born, time to die. Only the Creator knows when that is. So we're going to support the temple that He has given us to the best of our absolute possible ability. And a lot of people don't know how to do that, Dr. Wallach. So let's give some more information on how to do that. And the next question that we're going to go to is a hand here with us. And Kathy, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Dr. Wallach.
Hi.
I am 5'4", 145 pounds, 57 years of age, and I am having histamine response to everything I eat.
And what does that mean?
I get tired, and it happens within 10 minutes of eating.
Okay. Now, who told you it was a histamine response?
I feel it in my body.
Okay. Now, do you have a blood sugar issue? Do you have diabetes or low blood sugar?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Yeah, I think you have reactive hyperglycemia. I want you to go to the drugstore and get some test strips for your urine and test strips, for sticking your finger. And when you eat and then 10, 15, 30 minutes later, you're getting real drowsy, I want you to either urinate on one of those test strips or stick your finger, better yet, stick your finger, get a drop of blood and see what the test strip says. And I bet you have what's called reactive hypoglycemia. Your pancreas is pumping out an enormous amount of insulin. And so when you eat, it pumps out the insulin, it drops your blood sugar, and that's why you go to sleep. It's not a histamine thing.
Okay.
Okay. And so do the test. and then call us in a week or 10 days, because you're going to have a great story. Because if your body weight, get rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat and barley oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonation, especially no sugar, okay, no carbonation, including soft drinks, also no sugar-free soft drinks, no, absolutely no carbonated water, because it interferes with absorption of minerals and digestion of food. Then we also want you to have 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month. 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month. Full dosing twice a day. You get 2 bottles a month of our MSMs. You take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time, and they will support and promote maintenance, repair, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between vertebrae, bone, reach bone cell. Take our collagen peptides. Go ahead and take the scoop of that with your morning drink, scoop with the evening drink. And then I want you to get 2 bottles a month of our sweeties. I want you to take 3 of those twice a day. Okay. And, keep testing yourself, say twice a week or 3 times a week. Test your urine once you kind of get in the mode, and keep a little book and keep, what's going on there. But I think you have reactive hypoglycemia. And this is why people get killed. They cross the highway, they're driving and they're falling asleep because they have reactive hypoglycemia, and they just had a big dinner. They're going home. They fall asleep and cross the highway and do a head on and kill themselves, and the other people come the other direction. They say they did a test on them at the autopsy, no drugs in them. What happened? They don't know. Well, that's because they had hypoglycemia, reactive hypoglycemia. Okay.
So why is my body doing that?
Okay, because you're lacking nutrients. So do you eat wheat, barley, and oats?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I just started your diet a couple days ago.
Okay. Yeah. And so you cannot efficiently absorb. People say, well, I tried vitamins, minerals, they didn't work for me. Well, what do you eat for breakfast? I eat oatmeal every day for my whole life. Well, that's why, because you can't absorb the nutrition. Even if you're supplementing with nutrients, you can't absorb them if you're eating wheat, brown, round oats, or gluten, or buckwheat. Okay. You need to eat like an Asian. Stay away from the bad stuff. And for yourself, you may want to get that book, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods, 300 pages of.
Yeah, I was going to purchase that.
Oh, you got that? Okay, good. That's recipes. Safe recipes and safe cooking methods. And also it's got the good food, bad food list in there. Okay. And if you buy 10 of them, you get a nice, I don't know, that may be one of the books you don't get a discount for.
That's the exception, Dr. Wallach.
The exception.
Sorry, folks.
You don't get, okay, you can buy 100 of them, you still don't get a discount. That one, it's flying out the door so fast. We don't need to be offering discounts to encourage purchasing it. Okay.
And so I also have hair loss, but that will be all healed with the supplementation.
Okay, well, yeah, but I want you, now when you have hair loss, you want to get our hair, skin, and nails. Take 3 of those twice a day. It's 2 bottles a month. They're tiny little bottles. Okay, so you want to get 2 bottles a month of hair, skin, and nails. Take 3 of those twice a day. And do you have white, gray, or silver hair?
Yes.
Okay, well, guess what? That's not due to old age. It's not due to genetics. It's not due to autoimmune things. It's due to nutritional deficiencies. Now, there's some schools over in Europe that came out, and medical school said, oh, there's these special cells in your scalp that make hair. Well, that's true. And when they're running amok, they will cause you to have gray hair. Well, that's true. Well, why are they running amok? Because they're missing the nutrients. There's several very special nutrients that are necessary for those cells to make the hair color, whether it's blonde or red or brown or black. Okay. And so you need the nutrients for those special cells to make hair color. And so if those cells aren't getting those nutrients, they're not going to make hair color. It's not an autoimmune thing. It's not a genetic thing. It's a nutritional deficiency thing. Okay.
Okay. And so will this also help will I be able to go off my thyroid medication? Oh,
absolutely. Now, if you have a thyroid issue, I'd also want you to get 2 bottles a month of our, what we call Ocean's Gold. And it's made from 9 seaweeds. Okay. And if you want to take 3 of those twice a day, I do that. I don't have a thyroid problem, but I don't want to have a thyroid problem. So I take 3 Ocean's Gold twice a day. I also take the Fucoid Z 3 times a day. And it's also 9 seaweeds, but it's from the other ocean. Okay. So I'm getting 8 or 9 seaweeds from 2 different oceans. Okay. Plus I'm getting all the minerals in my hair, my healthy brain and heart pack, and my rebound and all that kind of stuff. And so my thyroid is good. And that was my first scientific paper. When those 500 sheep died, they all had thyroid issues because of pollution from the neighboring farms. And when the drop in temperature came, okay, in December of 1963, their thyroids were all dead. And 500 sheep, they all died in one night from hypothermia because their thyroids couldn't keep their body temperature up. And they all died of hypothermia. Okay. And so that was my first scientific publication. 500 died in one night because of pollution killing their thyroid glands. Okay, so yeah, your thyroid will come back. Your thyroid heals very rapidly. And so you have to write notes to your doctors and say, you need to find somebody else to help pay for your kids' college because I'm going to heal myself here. So bye-bye.
Yes. Thank you so much. I will get on top of that.
But please do contact us every couple of weeks because you're going to have a great story. Okay.
I can't wait. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Okay. Bye.
Kathy, welcome to this journey. I brought back from my vacation one of my old phones that has some of my old pictures prior to Youngevity and the difference between my hair then and hair now. I've got to do a side-by-side graphic because I mean, now it's got so much life in it. And before it was so thin and couldn't do anything with it. That's one of the wonderful benefits that I've experienced with being on the Youngevity products. Dr. Wallach, we've only got about 5 minutes here. We have Ryan. I have 2 people we want to get to. So Ryan, go ahead and unmute yourself. How can we help you today?
Sorry, yesterday I forgot to mention that I had I think I have hypothyroidism because I have lower temperature and puffier face and constipation, and the trace elements of the report from my hair analysis said that I might be susceptible to hypothyroidism. I looked online regarding about Ocean's Gold, and it has high calcium. So, and I also have high calcium to potassium ratio. So I'm not sure if I should be taking Ocean's Gold or is that
Ocean's Gold? Yes, take 3 twice a day.
But it has calcium. Do you think that would aggravate the ratios?
No, what's going to happen is your calcium levels are going to balance out here. When you have something missing or something too much of something, you get all these ratios are all screwed up, and you can't pick that thing and say I'm going to work on that one thing. You got to do the whole picture, and this is what I learned, and this is where the medical system is wrong. Okay, when you have diabetes, they will give you a drug to lower your blood sugar. Now, is that addressing the cause of diabetes? No. It'll drop your blood sugar, and so symptomatically you're happy, okay, and it might add some time to your life. But because you have all these other things going wrong, all these balances out of balance, all these deficiencies and so forth, and so just taking insulin to drop your blood sugar levels is not the answer. Okay, so stay with the Ocean's Gold, and you could go with a Fucoid Z. But I also have twice a day a couple ounces of Z Radical, which is a liquid form of Fucoid Z. It tastes kind of like red wine, but there's no alcohol in it.
It's better than red wine, Dr. Wallach.
Well, there you go.
Well, okay, so let's get to Nicole, Dr. Wallach. Nicole, go ahead and unmute yourself. And thanks for having.
Thank you for having me. I'm new to the products. I have become a distributor of Youngevity already.
Welcome.
And I'm excited to get information. I have a niece that has some issues. I actually have a few questions for several people, but my niece, she's only like 16, and she has something called a pseudo tumor. And the doctors have done surgery.
Stop. Where's her pseudo tumor at?
It's in her head, like behind her eyes. So there's fluid that keeps getting behind her eyes, and she gets terrible migraines, and they go and withdraw the fluid.
Okay, stop. Does she complain about any ringing in her ears, noise in her ears, anything like that?
I am not positive. I haven't heard about it.
We need to ask her. Yeah, you also need to ask her if she has any balance problems or dizziness.
Okay.
Okay, you also need to ask her how many times she wakes up at night to urinate. Once, 3 times, 5 times? Does she complain about urinating all the time?
Let me ask.
Yeah.
Let me ask.
Okay. Because she doesn't, I guarantee you she doesn't have a prostate gland. I've never examined her, but she doesn't have a prostate gland because girlies don't have prostate glands.
Trying to get to that part of the phone to ask. So they've done surgery several times and she keeps going in and out. She has sleep actually she doesn't sleep well because she does have very severe sleep apnea, and they said she's supposedly died many times in her sleep.
Okay, well, she could have osteoporosis of the skull causing all these problems. So once you get a hold of the book and the CD called It's All in Your Head. Okay, it's all in your head. And it deals with 37 different health problems you get when you have osteoporosis. Babies are born with osteoporosis. It's not an aging thing. Okay, they get what's called Erb's palsy. They're paralyzed from the neck down when they're born with osteoporosis of the skull because the mother didn't have enough nutrition to provide enough nutrients for the skull to develop properly. Okay, it's fixable, but you can't just treat the symptoms. You got to actually repair the skull, and this book goes into all that. Okay, and so this is going to help you, guide you into treating. Okay, and does this child also have any voice problems, anything like that? Irregular heartbeat, fast heart rate, slow heart rate, irregular heart rate?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'll ask that.
Yeah, you need to ask those questions. And this is where this book, It's All in Your Head, will help you. And of course, there's a CD that Rebecca and I did that goes along with it. It's a set, the book and the CD. It's All in Your Head. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And may I ask about another person that has something called keratoconus, the cone-shaped eyes, and she's kind of going blind a little bit.
Keratinitis?
Yeah, keratinitis. Yeah, she's 48.
Okay, this is an eye thing. This is something where the back of the eye, where the optic nerve and the optic artery and the optic vein go into the back of the eye. Okay, it's called macular, the macula, the macular degeneration, and she may have macular degeneration here. Okay, because that part of the eye is dying because the optic nerve and the optic artery and vein are being squeezed by the skull when they have osteoporosis. It's quite common. It's a very common thing, and they don't teach it in medical school. When they have osteoporosis and arthritis in the knees, what do? Double knee replacement. When they have osteoporosis and arthritis of the hips, what do they give? Double hip replacement. So if doctors were taught about osteoporosis of the skull, they'd have to give you a double head replacement. And so they don't teach about osteoporosis. I don't even think they know about osteoporosis. Rebecca, do you think doctors know about osteoporosis?
So you think both of the people have the exact same thing?
Oh, yeah. It's not a genetic thing. They live in the same house.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they eat the same food?
I don't think so, because the one with the keratinitis has so many gut and digestion. She can barely eat anything. She has
Well, that's because she's eating gluten. She's eating wheat, bran, rye, and oats. You need to get them that book, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods, 300 pages of safe recipes. Okay, all 300 pages also has safe cooking methods. Also, it has a good food, bad food list in it. And this is something the whole family needs to sit around and talk about and read that stuff and ask questions and so on. Because when you have two kids in the same family, or brothers and sisters with the same problem, this is where the doctors come and say, well, it's a genetic thing. That's why no, people are eating the same way, eating the same food. They may have a little variation, but basically they're eating the same way. When they eat gluten, wheat, bran, rye, and oats, oatmeal for breakfast, and they eat pancakes and waffles, they eat grits, and they eat things like spaghetti. Oh my gosh, there's a killer. Spaghetti. You can eat rice noodles, but you can't eat wheat noodles. You cannot eat buckwheat noodles. Okay. And this is where that book, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Food, comes in. That book will save your life.
Okay, I'll make sure that they get that.
Okay.
Now I watched your video and heard you talk about getting rid of the muscular dystrophy, but I never, somehow I must be missing it, never heard what the answer was. I just heard that you said that you cured it, but I never hear the answer.
Okay, well, it's a nutritional deficiency. Muscular dystrophy is a nutritional deficiency, so they got to get rid of all the bad foods. Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods, depending on their age and size. They need the 90 essential nutrients, the healthy brain and heart pack. They need the collagen peptides. They need the MSM, vitamin D3, and glucogel, synaptive. And I would also throw in the I-26. And guess what? I don't care how long you've had muscular dystrophy, it'll go away.
Okay, so I wrote this down. You said something called I-26, E3, collagen, and
our collagen peptides are healthy brain and heart pack.
Yeah, healthy brain and heart pack is a big one on this. And Nicole, I apologize. Dr. Wallach does have to get to his next appointment. He was just receiving a call from them. So Dr. Wallach, thank you again
thanks
so much.
So
And yes, please come back, Nicole. I know as a new health coach, I was wondering where can I get answers? And I love the fact that I now am able to provide this program to help all of our health coaches get answers so that they can then work within their own health, their own families, their own communities, and all together will eventually reach the world. If I could get my co-hosts up with me, that would be fantastic. I want to thank them individually for all that they do. We have Farhan. Farhan is helping make sure everybody gets in. He's helping watch the cameras and also make sure that we have the sounds out in the different platforms like Facebook and YouTube and Rumble, and we are expanding. So if you have a favorite one, I know Rumble was a favorite one the last time I asked, where do you watch videos? We want to make sure that we are reaching where the people are watching. I want to thank Marilyn Pizzera for all of the work that she's doing, and she's putting information in the chat for people to be able to see who are here with us. And as Dr. Wallach is recommending these products, she's then transcribing that, putting it in the chat. So folks, if you want to come and join us Monday through Friday from 12 to 12:50-ish Pacific time, you are welcome to. dailywithDocZoom.com is where you want to go. Sherry Browning, who is also helping us keep track of the questions that are coming in through the chat. She takes pictures of it, sends it to me, and hopefully I get to it. If not, we still have record of that so that if we can tell who the person is and we have contact information for that person, we can then reach out to that person with the answers to the questions that they're asking. And then last but not least, we have my sister, Ruth Ellen Sanchez, who is helping me make sure that all of my graphics look right, make sure that everything is being streamed where it's supposed to be streamed with sound, and keeping me on track when I go on my little side tracks. So my name is Becca Dukes, and as the hostess of Daily with Doc, I am so proud of my team. Folks, if you're looking to be part of a community, we have community that is waiting for you. We're health-minded. We love people. We are not closed to the fact that we are divine creations. What we put in our body, what we feed our body, is going to determine how our body is going to respond. And we're important. I hope you feel that too. I hope you understand that. If you don't, you need to surround yourself with people who can help you feel that, help you understand that. We had so many questions coming on today. I know that every single one of you is important. All of your questions are important. If we did not get to your question today and you would like to ask, please go to dailywithdoc.com. Use that, contact us, send us an email. Let us know if you're working with a health coach or not, so that we can make sure that your health coach knows that you have questions. And then we can get answers to both of you so they can continue to coach you with using Dr. Wallach's recommendations. Okay, that's the most important part. Dr. Wallach has done so much research. He has taken his research and put it to work, both in the animal world and in the human world. He's created formulas because he couldn't find what he was looking for. So he put a team together that then put what he was looking for into formulas that were absorbable by the body. We can't absorb rock, but folks, when plants take up that rock into their roots and create the nutrients within the plant that then we eat, or the meat that we eat eats, so that we get nutrients that way, it just makes for a much better outcome, much better tomorrow when it comes to our health and our wellness, both physically and mentally. And yeah, thank you. Oh, I cannot forget AJ out on YouTube doing such a fabulous job. Sportitus, and I'm going to get it right. Thank you so much for helping out there on YouTube with all of the questions. And we will make sure that we get answers to those who reach out to us. So until next time, thank you everybody for taking time out of your schedule. Don't forget to get back with the person that shared this program with you and say thank you. Thank you for caring enough, for taking the time to share this video with me, because I don't know about you, but even as I'm listening and hearing what things are affecting other people, it brings more and more people to my mind that I need to reach out to. And as health coaches, we have solutions. Bye for now.